Hi, this is Dylan.
And this is Austin.
And this is the walkthrough of the worlds that we made. So this first world that we're in here is Tutorial Town. It's where the player kind of gets an idea of the world of Minecraft and how the mechanics of it work and how the mechanics that we added, such as the lead contamination, works.
So what we're showing here right now is if you step off the guided path, you start to generate lead from the grass environment around you.
That number up on the top of the screen is your lead contamination, and if it gets high enough, you start to lose health.
What's cool, what we're also showing right here is the hand washing stations, which is one of the best practices that we implemented into the demo so far to lower your lead levels.
So there's sinks in all the houses, and the students that are playing this can go into the house and wash their hands in the game. This is showing that in the water it's higher. It depends on what block you're standing on, how much lead contamination you get. And the ways you lower that are doing the best practices, like washing your hands or staying on the paved path. Will make sure you don't get a lot of lead contamination.
So this is our first character named Willis. He is the quest giver in World 1. He is the one who tells you what he needs to do. And his buddy Joseph's behind you is telling you not to forget your work boots.
Which is another best practice, is making sure that you're dressed appropriately to stay away from lead contamination. So that's something else we added into the game. So this first quest, you have to go into the mine, the silver mine, and bring back to Willis 5 pieces of silver ore, and he'll trade you for a ticket to get to World 2. So that's what we're doing.
So yeah, right now we're just walking towards the mine, getting ready to go do our first quest, which was Willis was asking for silver ore. Like I said, Dylan just said to get onto World 2. So here's the mine.
We tried to put a lot of signage inside the mine and all over the world so that students would be encouraged to kind of explore and learn as they're playing without necessarily us just having to tell them all the information that they need.
Or without the instructor or whoever's running the demo would have to be there and let them know everything. So short little minecart ride into the mine, and here you're going to have to start mining away to actually find the minerals that are pretty close to the surface of what's already been carved out.
So there's some silver ore right there. And each block counts as 1. And so the students need to mine 5 blocks, which they're all behind these walls. So there's enough for every student to get 5 pieces of silver ore. And once they have their 5, it looks like this, they go back to Willis and they can trade it in for the ticket to get to World 2. So that's their task for World 1. And along the way they'll learn how to avoid the lead and how to use the best practices to manage their lead contamination. As you can see, we've got a pretty high lead contamination up there on the top of the screen. And so we actually only have 9 hearts now instead of the 10 that we normally start with in our health. So it's lowering our health. It's already affecting our character.
And a big thing we wanted to make sure you did was remove your work boots as you were leaving.
Because they're covered in lead contamination now.
So as we put them in that chest, they get removed from the chest because we didn't want other players to come by and pick up your boots, your dirty work boots, and wear them. So we wanted to make sure that they were removed efficiently enough.
So now we're trading with Willis the silver ore. He's going to give us our ticket. I got 1 silver ore left over. And there's all kinds of stuff in this first world for the students to explore as they're playing. So it will take them longer than it's taking this current walkthrough to get through because we know where to go while we're playing it. The students will have to engage with the game world a little more.
Well, actually, yeah, have to explore. So right now, Dylan is walking back to actually wash his hands one last time before leaving World 1 because his lead level is significantly higher, and as you just noticed, he got his heart back. He got his.
So yeah, now the heart's back on the health because my lead contamination is lower again. So I'm already using those best practices to try and manage the lead contamination that I have and stay safe while recreating. So when we're pressing this button here, the door doesn't open, so they can't get to World 2 unless they go put this ticket, which they get from completing the quest, in there, and then pushing the button will open the door, and they can get through.
And as they walk through, the pressure plates will close the door behind them, making sure that other players do not get in. Big thing is also to make sure you're on the minecart before
before you push it down
before
the
you
track.
actually start moving.
So that was my fault, but now we're on our way to World 2. So we built this minecart and we made it go underground so students couldn't just figure out a way to walk to World 2. They actually have to complete the quest to get to World 2, and once they do, they're rewarded with this little minecart ride that takes them on this track. And they'll end up in World 2 where they have another quest to complete that will teach them more about lead contamination in the mining kind of industry in this area, as well as continue to enforce those best practices so that they can use them in the real world. Alright, so here we are coming up on World 2. It's called Old Kellogg, and it's modeled after Kellogg, Idaho. So you get off the minecart and you end up here at the train station. Alright, so we're coming through the train station of World 2 here. There's a pressure plate on the floor that resets the player's spawn point so that if something happens and they die in this world, they just set back here rather than all the way back at World 1. So we have some signage immediately that tells the students to go find Pappy, the character we've named Pappy, who's at the general store, to give them their quest for World 2. But first, let's stop off and lower my lead contamination because it's getting pretty high again. So here we found Pappy's general store. He's given us our quest. He's got a sword at the bottom of the mine that we have to go in and retrieve, but it's infested with spiders, so he gives us another sword and asks us if we bring back his special sword, it's a mithril sword, then he'll give us a ticket to go to World 2. And here we are again. We want to make sure that the students are wearing their work boots in the mine, because that is a best practice, and we want to make sure that they know what's going on. So this mine has a couple different ways to go with different secrets in it for exploration, but for the purposes of this walkthrough, we'll just go the one way that gets to the end. So along with fighting the spiders in the mine, there's also this kind of platforming section to kind of change up the gameplay elements a little bit, so it's not as much of a grind for the students to get through the mine. So I'm eating some food real fast to replenish my health because I lost some of it while fighting those spiders. I want to make sure that I don't die here in the mine. And this is an area where students can work together too. They're more than one of them are going to be in the mine at the same time, obviously. So as they go through, they can team up and work together to fight the spiders off. And as more people go through the mine, there'll be more spiders in the mine, so it'll almost be necessary. So there we hit the button. We got our mithril sword to give back to Pappy. And now we're going to head back up and trade in for the ticket and get to World 3, which is our reward world. It's we call it Creative Cavern. and it really just gives the students the ability to just create and play, which is what you do in the base game of Minecraft, but you're still watching out for your lead contamination, so you still have to be aware of those best practices.
Also, if the players explore World 2 a little bit more, they will notice that there is another shop in World 2 that they can use to trade any of the excess silver and stuff they got from World 1. That's just a bonus, just in case, like I said, Dale already had a little bit of extra silver when he went through World 1. He could go and grab himself a bow or some
better armor or something to help me survive the mine a little better.
So here you trade Pappy his methyl sword and get your book for World 2. Your ticket for World 2 to World 3. This is the train ticket train station right next to Pappy.
It's the same thing as World 1, so it doesn't work if you hit the button without putting the ticket in, so you gotta put the ticket in first.
And there's no way to keep your ticket either. So as soon as the ticket goes in and you push the button to open the door, it is taken from you.
Yeah, it eats the ticket so that students can't just let their friends through or something. You have to complete the mission to.
Yeah, not once one player finishes the mission, it's not completed for all players, which is something we wanted to make sure was in the game, because if we wanted to make sure everybody had to actually go through the experience and learn.
So here we are on the train to Creative Cavern, World 3, our reward world. And it's pretty bare because we really want the players to build it up themselves. So we give them, you push these buttons here and they get the material that is there. So there's different kinds of wood and stone, and they can, from there, after they get these materials, they can build whatever they want in wherever they want.
And what's really cool is these are the base materials for most things. So like, big thing is wood, you can turn it into wood planks or anything like that, or stone, you can use a furnace to smelt into other materials. So we don't have to give every block the player would to craft with. We just give them the bases so they can use Minecraft knowledge to get what they need.
This is just me building a kind of rudimentary little thing just to show what we can do with this World 3. The students can really do whatever they want. And that's the idea, is that after completing the whole mission, they get this reward of being able to create to their heart's content.
Cool.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for watching the walkthrough, and we hope you enjoyed.